Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryder, and this is the beginner's guide to Lucio. This is just a beginner's guide. It's not an advanced guide, so this is just something to get you started. In this video, we're going to go over strengths, weaknesses, the abilities and play style of Lucio, and some things to kind of get you started so you can jump into quick play or early competitive and kind of know how he functions and what you need to do as Lucio. Keep in mind, if you really want to master heroes on Overwatch, it does take some time and some practice. So don't expect to jump in and just immediately jump up to Grandmaster. It will take some time to really master these things. But before we get started, please make sure you hit the like button, smash that subscribe button, and check the description down below where my Twitch link will be, where I stream pretty regularly on there as well. But without further ado, let's jump into the guide for Lucio. So Lucio is a support hero. As a support hero, your job is to essentially support your team. Your primary role is to heal your teammates and keep them alive for team fights. But every support hero in the game has basically like a gimmick or tools that help them support their team beyond just healing. And Lucio has a couple as well, and we're going to get into them now. But the first thing we're going to cover is, of course, the healing. Well, actually, let's cover his primary fire first. So his primary fire is his sonic amplifier, which is really, really simple. You got 20 rounds, and you just hold the button down, you fire a 3-round burst, and anybody you hit, you're doing damage to. It's not a crazy amount of damage. You're not gonna knock the walls off. If you headshot, you're gonna do some pretty decent damage. I've seen Lucio's actually pop the fuck off. So I mean, as Lucio, when I play Lucio, I have a lot of fun. Seeing how many kills I can get as Lucio. Lucio is actually one of those healers that's really easy to play. If you're wanting to get into support, I would highly recommend picking up Lucio. He's a good starter support to kind of get you to understand, because he has a couple different tools that are really useful. So as far as his actual secondary fire as well, is his boop, basically. Everybody calls it the boop. Basically, you hit your secondary fire and boop, you knock a target back. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but a Lucio on a map like Ilios with the well, or anywhere with a cliff, can get some really great value out of catching the enemy team out of position near a cliff and just knocking them off. I've seen Lucios get play of the game, knocking 3 people off or something. It's really funny to watch. So that's his primary and his secondary fire. You should basically, the entire time that you're running around as Lucio, I honestly just hold down this button. I just hold it down, because the whole time you're doing damage, the whole time you're getting value, ult charge, any kind of damage that you're doing to the enemy team, it helps. Okay. Now, as far as his actual healing abilities and his other things, he has his crossfade, which is basically his 2 stances: green mode and healing mode, basically. So what you see me in right now is your green mode, basically. In this mode, anyone in your, basically, as you can see, I don't know if yeah, you can see it on the screen. So if you see there's like a green ring going around me right now, anyone within that green ring is going to benefit from the aura that Lucio is emanating. It will tell you how many people are in your aura by the little number that you see right underneath my crosshairs. Like right now it shows 2 people, or 2 of the bots are in. Now 3, because that one just spawned up. It'll tell you how many people are in your aura, so that way you know who's getting benefit from what you're doing. When you're green, you are providing everyone a speed boost. This is a great way to get back from the point after a team wipe, or if you die and get picked off or something, you can get back to the fight quicker and provide support quicker. Other than that, stay out of green. In my opinion, don't fuck with green. Don't get into it unless you are using it to get back from the point, or get back to the point quicker, or maybe get to the point before the enemy team at the beginning of a fight, something like that. You should always stay in healing mode unless those things are present. So if you hit your left shift trigger, I don't know what it is on console, but your left shift trigger, you swap over to healing mode. Now, the entire time that you have these people in your aura, they are getting passive heals. As you can see, they are being healed. It's not a crazy amount, but it is a good support heal. Lucio is kind of like your AoE heal. He heals multiple people at one time. It's not anything that's going to knock your socks off, but it is a pretty decent amount. But here's the thing. You have your other ability, which is basically your drop the beat. Whenever you do this, you then amplify your passive healing for a short period of time. Has a 10-second cooldown, but it's a good thing. Like if you notice that all of your teammates are taking a lot of damage, you can pop that off. Me, personally, I pop that on cooldown because it helps Lucio's heals go up, keeps them in the team fight longer. Literally, all I ever do in a team fight is run around holding down my trigger, making sure that I have as many people in my aura as I can, and popping my beat on cooldown so that I can keep those heals pumping, keeping people alive, and then looking for opportunities where I can just go bap, and pop people off the platforms or whatever. You could also just use knockback as a general way to disorient players, especially in your lower elos. People get a little disoriented whenever they get knocked out of position. They don't know what happened, and it can distract them and cause them to get killed. So I literally just pop these, then I'll pop a knockback just to distract them, maybe push them off a payload if it's overtime, something like that. Knock them back into an ultimate that otherwise they may have dodged, things like that. And then, of course, you have your ultimate, which is your sound barrier. This is a very powerful ultimate. When you pop this off, Lucio slams on the ground and provides a large health increase that deteriorates over time to your entire team and everyone caught in it. This is a great way to survive ultimates. Let's say like Diva Bombs coming in, Junkrat Tires coming in, things like that. Zarya pops grab on your team. Things like that. You can pop Sound Barrier to maybe give your team a little bit of extra oomph to survive that hit or survive what's coming in, so that you can then recover and get back into the team fight, or maybe survive a team fight or team wipe from happening. Or it's a good way to really push in if your team's trying to take the point over from the enemy team. You can pop Sound Barrier pushing in to give your team a little bit of extra health so that they can then overpower the enemy team a little easier. Sound Barrier is a very, very strong ability, and Lucio gets ult charge, as you can see, very, very quickly. I would highly recommend using this, pretty often. I mean, I would save it for like big moments, but a saved ult is a wasted ult, so I would definitely recommend using it in proactive situations. And then, of course, you do have one other little gimmick here, and that's your wall ride. You jump at a wall, and you hit the jump button again, and you will then basically wall ride along with it. This is kind of a way for Lucio to avoid fire. People can't really follow him that well, but it's a good way, like if he's getting focused, he can wall ride around and jump from wall to wall to kind of dodge that fire and things like that. It's also a good way to maybe contest a payload, or not contest a payload, contest a point, if a point's in overtime or something like that, and you're waiting for your team to get back into the team fight and you're the only one alive. I've seen Lucio's hold points completely by themselves before. It's actually kind of funny because the speed that he has makes it very hard for people to pin him down without like sleep darting him or stunning him or something like that, or everybody focusing him at one time. A good Lucio knows how to like bob and weave from wall to wall and around corners and things like that to kind of keep themselves from getting picked off. Utilizing wall ride really benefits you. It's a little bit more of an advanced Lucio technique to really pull off effectively and get a lot of value out of, but whenever you do, it is really strong. As far as strengths and weaknesses with Lucio, strength-wise, I mean, he doesn't really have a whole lot of damage output potential. He can pop off in ways, but he really thrives as far as like when to play him. He thrives very well on like payload maps where he can dance around the payload and everyone is stacked up on the payload together and he's able to heal everybody at one time. He benefits a lot. Same with Robot Escort. That's another one that he kind of thrives really well with, because everybody is in the same generalized location compared to like point control, where people might be a little bit more spread out chasing people that might be defending in different locations. It's a little bit harder whenever everybody's spread out for Lucio to really get a lot of value compared to payload and escort maps where everybody should be in the same generalized location. As far as weaknesses and things that really challenge Lucio, Winston is something that is kind of a challenge for him because he can't get away from those lightning arcs very easily. Same with like Genji, things that can kind of match Lucio's speed. are kind of a challenge for him. But all in all, Lucio is a very well-rounded support hero. He doesn't have knock your socks off heals, but he is a good starter support. He can give a lot of value to your team if played correctly. And the boops, man, the boops are very fun. If you're looking to get into support, it's a good starter one. But anyway, yeah, that right there is basically, that's your beginner's guide to Lucio. He's not a hard healer to play. If you're wanting to get into support, I highly recommend starting with him. If you guys have any questions or anything, please leave a comment down below. I'll help you in any way I can. Be sure to check out the Twitch channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye.